Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Ewan McQuaid and it is that time. It's NWA Power review time. Now, I just finished watching this week's episode and I'm going to run down everything that happened in the show, briefly tell you what I thought about it because I don't want this to go too long and for me to bore you. So yes, and also yes, there is a washing machine with a dog bed behind me because I'm in the process of getting stuff for a new place. So yes, there's a washing machine if you're wondering. So this week's show started off with a really nice recap from last week's NWA, and it had Nicolas, of course. We had the announcement of the 14-man battle royal and his reaction to that, which led very nicely into the show's opening promo with Nicolas standing there with Strictly Business, every single member as well, which was a nice touch. Not just the men, Camille was there as well, and it was a really good promo. He's really upset about the fact that he has to defend himself against a battle royal. He talks down battle royals, which I thought was really funny, because I don't see anything wrong with the battle royal, but obviously Nicolas thinks I'm a dickhead, so of course, yeah, that's the way it worked. And basically this just set up the tag match later was cancelled by Nicolas. He said he didn't want Chris Adonis and Tom Latimer to face the current tag team champions of Aaron Stevens and Kratos. So that's an interesting little piece of storytelling, because he wants those two in the battle royal for his championship. Now maybe he's hoping that they'll just lay down and take it if they win the battle royal, which is quite an interesting idea. If one of them sort of rises up and decides to take out all this, try and actually go for the title and lead into the implosion of Strictly Business. But that was a really interesting touch, and I really liked the way it played into the end. I thought the ending of this episode was awesome. I thought it was really cool, and something you don't see much on mainstream wrestling shows, but I'll touch on that in a little bit. Camille also got some really nice promo work as well, talking about her face-to-face with Thunder Rosa that was coming up, and she teased what the announcement might be. Going on from there, we had Macross versus Mims for a shot at the TV title. Now, this was a really fun match. Macross is really cool, is what I've got written down. He does some really cool high-flying offense. It's really smooth and crisp, and it was just a really fun David vs Goliath match, which Cross won with like a Tyler Bate style springboard into the ropes, right into a cutter for Mims. It was a really fun match, but this led to Tyrus coming out with Austin Idol to call out Pope. In Pope, I didn't realise this was a thing, maybe I'm just dumb, but he's got 4 wins away from his 7 match, what do you call it, clause, where he can face the world title holder. Sure, that's cool. I want to see Pope versus Aldous. I think that'd be really fun. But Idol got a really good promo. Tyrus didn't really say much. It was all Idol this, and he offered to shake Pope's hand. Sort of make him a friend more than an enemy, and Pope turned him down, which is good for Pope. Pope's clearly the babyface in this, and Tyrus and Idol are just the heel dickheads, and it's really fun. It's a really fun feud. It's not great in ring from what I've seen so far, but I really like Pope, and I do enjoy Tyrus, and I enjoy Austin Idol as well. I think he's really cool. So yeah, that was a pretty good one as well. Pretty good stuff. Aaron Stevens got a really interesting interview next, talking about Kratos and how he's feeling after their team is sort of imploding before his eyes. He didn't get much time, but I really appreciated some of the stuff he had to say, talking about how he wants to end his career in NWA, which we sad to see him go. I haven't seen that much of him. But yeah, that was a really nice interview, really nice character building the tag team implosion for when they eventually lose the titles, and they'll probably feud against each other, so yeah, thumbs up for that. Next up we got a Sal Moro promo, which sort of set up, it was a match with Kratos. It was a glorified squash match this, and Kratos just had a really insanely cool looking knee strike, springboard knee strike, while Sal went for the springboard. Kratos hit him with a knee, and he could have won it from there, but no, because he's a massive heel. He pulls up Sal and then hits him with like a wheelbarrow German suplex to pin him. This just sets up Kratos as being, a monster, which he absolutely is. And to be honest, sorry, I just got to scroll through my notes. There we go. It was really good. Kratos was really good. And I'm looking forward to the eventual match between Aaron Stevens and Kratos. I think it'll be really fun. Really fun. Next up we had a Thunder Rosa promo, and she got a really, really cool promo. You know, talking about her place in women's wrestling. I really like this way they're portraying Thunder Rosa. They're really making her like a figurehead of not just NWA's women's division, but just the women's division in general for different companies, which I think is really cool, the way she's sort of spearheading this movement. But of course, she's called out by Camille. And Camille also, really good promo. She says, you know, that she's being selfish. Rosa's being selfish. And this is where you can kind of see two sides of the same coin. It's like, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, Rosa's doing all this cool stuff. I think this is a really good feud, and I think leading into the match stipulation, which Camille announced would be a 20-minute match, one fall to a finish, and if Camille wins, Rosa can no longer wrestle any other promotions, so she wouldn't be wrestling in AEW if she loses. I think that's a really interesting stipulation to add to this match. It's going to add a lot of tension and drama, and I think the way they've been positioning the story and the framework, this stipulation works really well, really nicely. So I'm insanely hyped for that match, to be honest. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be really, really strong. Next up we had the Falls Count Anywhere match between Jax Dane and Slice Boogie. The one thing this match got me to realise is how hard the NWA studio floor is / looks. Because when they were taking some of the bumps on the outside of this, oh my god, it looked like it absolutely killed. It was like, we've seen people on Falls Count Anywhere matches in WWE landing on the concrete and stuff, but for some reason this just seemed really hard. I don't know if it was because it was like glazed or something, but it looked really painful. And this was a really good match. It was a really fun Falls Count Anywhere match. Went longer than I thought it would be, because I was still expecting some sort of shenanigans with the main event, and I was like, oh, there's still a bit of time left. But Dane really impressed me here. I thought he looked really cool. He looked like an absolute tank. You know, there's specifically a spot where Boogie sets him on a chair, goes to do a running knee strike or something, and Jax just stands up and, you know, blocks him, just nails him, doesn't even move his arms or anything like that. He looked like an absolute powerhouse. And the two had a really interesting back and forth, you know. Again, Dane catches Boogie when he jumps off some steps and slams him straight into the ring post. That looked brutal. But the finish came when Crimson came out, and Crimson is Dane's tag team partner. I was unaware of this, so this is why it kind of made me feel a bit weird, this ending. But he basically went to throw in the towel for Dane, who had his head in a chair, like Pillman eyes. But he accidentally gets knocked off, shenanigans ensue, and Dane knocks off Crimson from the apron, slams onto the floor. And Dane goes out to check on him while Boogie's still in the ring. And Dane throws in his own towel. Now, this was something I don't think I've ever seen before. I've never seen this kind of finish. I thought it was really... This could have been saved for a pay-per-view. I think maybe build up the relationship a bit stronger, and then he throws in his own towel. I think that could have had some real sort of dramatic weight to this. It was a nice finish, but I wish it would have been saved for a bigger event, personally. Maybe it's going to lead to stuff down the line, but I just wish it was saved, yeah. That's my thoughts on that. But great match. Really great match, an interesting finish. And finally, we have the tag team title match. Oh no, we don't. So we cut to the announce team, and Strictly Business have left the building. They've all gone. The number one contenders have left. Kratos and Aaron Stevens are ready to go. They are ready to, you know, have their title match, but they've left the building, so they just cut the show off completely. They just end the show without a main event, which I think is genius. I think that makes Strictly Business look like complete and utter heels. I think it adds a really sort of interesting take to the match. I've never seen that happen before, just a show go off air without having the main event. And yeah, it was just really cool. I really appreciated that finish. And overall as a show, I thought this was a really good show. I really loved the promos in NWA Power. You know, the promos get a lot of time, probably about 15 minutes per episode, but they don't drag. You know, they give character and they give motive, which I think these two promos, the Nicolas and the Thunder Rosa Camille promos, they really did. I really enjoyed this show. If I were to rate it, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. It just needed a killer match, like a really killer match. I haven't seen that yet in NWA, sort of like a 30-minute barn burner. But I'm expecting the will at the next pay-per-view. So have you watched NWA Power? What do you think of this week's NWA Power? Let me know down in the comments and I will try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support and have a nice day.